Hello everyone and welcome to the sixth day of the UI UX track of Developer Student Community. Mozilla Dork and KUG Dork presents Developer Days, platform partner DevFolio, authentication partner Saho Labs, supported by Script Foundation and streaming partner StreamYard. We brought Yesterday's session was amazing and we have brought another session of Figma. But before starting that, we have an announcement to make. We'll be giving out Bitcoins today as we have been doing in all our streams. So stay tuned for that. And today we again have Ashish with us.
Hi everyone. Hi Hansaj.
Hey Ashish. So yesterday we explored Figma a little bit. So what are we gonna do today?
So today we are going little deep. Today we are going to discuss the UI aspects of the design, iconography, typography, and related spacing, grids, and everything. And at the end of the session, we are going to create a real grocery app in Figma. Yeah.
So yeah, we've been building up this whole app for like 2 weeks, and this is the third week going on. So I hope everybody is excited. And like without further ado, let's get started with it. Over to you, Ashish.
Sure. Hi everyone. So today we are going to discuss frames and layout, grids, type scales, iconography, color system, spacing, elevations, component library, and UI design. At the end of the on the last part, we are going to actually build a screen. So yeah, so we discussed frames yesterday. Frames are really powerful, and today we are going to discuss layout grids. So grids have to organize the layout of the design. A column grid. So there are like a lot of like multiple type of grids, but in UI design, we usually use column grid for the most of the part, and the column grid help to organize content into evenly spaced vertical columns. So these are vertical columns on your screens, help you to organize your content according to the screen. So the spacing, a grid layout is made up of three things. First is column, second is gutter, and third is margin. And the gutter, I guess, is the most main part. I guess gutter is the distance between columns. So for web development or web designing, we usually use 12 grid system, and for mobile or for most of mobile and plugins stuff like that, we use 4 grid column. Type scales is a combination of styles that are supported by type. When I say type, I'm talking about font or typeface. Uh, so, as you guys all know, fonts support a lot of type scales from very heavy to very thin, and type scale is the combination of all those. But you don't need to remember everything. There are two tools you can use. First is material type scale, and second is typescale.com. So on this website, on these two websites, they made you up type scale, so you don't need to remember. You can like copy that from these two websites. Uh, Next one is iconography. Iconography, as you all know, icons, and iconography is the visual language to represent feature functionality or content. Icons are meant to be simple, visual elements that are recognized and understood immediately. Means the icon should be really, really simple. So if you guys look at this icon, you like guess on in microsecond that this is a cowboy icon and this is a back icon and this is probably upload to cloud kind of icon. So there are multiple icon resources. First is material icon, which is broadly used by on Android devices, and the plugin is also available for Figma. Second is Lucide icon, which I personally use a lot. Third one is Remix icon, also a great library, but the plugin is not available as of now for Figma. And third is Iconly. So yeah, you can use all these four uh, resources, and you can also install those three plugins as well. Next is color system. So color system help you to apply your color to your UI in a meaningful way. So in this system, you have two kind of colors, or I'd say first is primary color and second is secondary color, and the whole range is between from large. So if we are picking blue color, we probably have the lightest blue and the darkest blue. So we can play around all the spectrum of that color. Resources, I usually use these two resources: material color system and eva color system. uh, so what happen on, but if you are going on these two, if you are going to use these two tools, you have to put your primary color. Let's say my primary color is this blue, so this these two tools going to make a whole spectrum from the lightest of that color to the darkest of that color. Spatial systems or spacing. Spatial systems is a set of rules how you measure size and space in your UI elements. Uh, so what our spacing system is, spacing system help us to uh, uh, differentiate or like distance the spacing between two elements. So usually and it helps to communicate a lot. So if you are working in a team, uh, and you are like, let's say you are five designers working in a team, so you can't use your own system or your own spacing. Let's say I'm using, so for bigger elements I'm using 40, and the designer is using, let's say 32. So that is not going to happen. It also break the design and the communication between the teams. That's why we use spatial systems. Spatial system, and the most common system is 8-point grid. So we'll keep adding 8 8. So let's say 8, we start from 4, I guess, then 8, then uh, plus 8 is 16, plus 8 is 24, then 32, then 40, 48, and stuff like that. uh, Next is shadows and elevation. This one is very interesting. So in UI design we use elevations and shadows. So these shadows might look really fancy to your UI design, but they also have a mint. Uh, Elevations in UI design is measured at the distance between two elements. So let's say if I have two elements, one card, and let's say one is the base element, which is your screen, and on top of that I have a card. So in material design, which is the design language of Google, they imagine a light source. So let's imagine this is a light source, and it's on a 45-degree of angle. So you are taking your phone and imagine that there is a light source, and every element. So let's say this is the base element or the base. Then we have a card on top of card. We have a button. So when we are going to use it in UI design or in real life as well, the most uh, the the most the most distance between we have two. So the most distance we have between two elements, the more softer shadow we create, and the less distance we have, the more harder shadow we create. So I've so if we look it so if we try to look this from on top, it's probably going to look like this. So this is very high, that's why it's creating a very soft shadow, and this is a little low at the distance between the base and that element is very less. That's why we are creating a very uh, hard shadow. Component libraries consist of all the design parts of a UI. So let's say you're working in a team again, and you guys cannot make your own buttons. So not everybody is going to create their own button, because that is going to break the consistency of the product and the design. So that's why we use component library. Component library is a collection of components, reusable components, which help designers. It also helps a lot to really fast up your designing process. So let's dive into Figma and create a grocery app. As you guys see, I usually structure my Figma files like this. So let's say uh, this is my UI design, this is my component library. Let's say one another file or page is going to be iterations, where I probably iterate with other fellow designers, and one is discard. So if we discard something from the file, we don't usually delete that bit, because you don't know might have to use that again. So we put that component or that piece of design to that discard file. Uh, in component library, I already have some colors. So I pick up this two primary. So this is our primary color, which is green. This is our secondary color, which is little orange. And this is how you create a color system. So I have the lightest green to the darkest green. For this, I've used Eva Design System or Eva Design Tool. For eva.color.design is something like that, the URL. So you can Google search it. For secondary color, I chose this orange color, and these two rounded ones are our primary colors. Then we also have this black to white. In UI designs, don't try to use pure black or pure white because that usually don't goes well when you try to develop it. Probably very harsh on eyes. So we use some kind of a shade of gray. So that's why we are using it. Uh, Next we have our type scales. So this is how type scale look like. We have H1 heading, H2 heading, H3, H4, H5, H6. Uh, H6 from H1 to H6 you can probably use on for your web products if you are designing for web. After that we have subtitle, subtitle 1, subtitle 2, body 1, body 2, which is for body text. Subtitle is for subtitles. Headings are basically for headings. And then we have buttons from which we create buttons. Then captions for captions and overline for very most of the time you are only going to use, I think, max up to H4 and button, I guess. So I've already defined these as styles. So we already have them as styles. Let's define this color as style as well. So first, what I'll do is rename all the colors. So color layers. So let's pick them up. So you can select like this as well. Select one element, then shift 2 3 4, or you can, for quick access, you can click on this and then shift. While pressing shift you can click on the last element and it also going to select them all. What I usually do, so this is an auto layout. uh, Sorry. So this is an auto layout. I usually click on the main frame and tap on center, and it's also going to select them all. Let's control R. So we have the renaming layer menu here. So how this works is it helps you to rename all your files at once. So let's say I want to rename from this to this. Let's see how the structure right here as of now. So the first layer, which is going to be 100, and this is going to be 900, and this is from bottom to top. So let's select them all again. Control R, bottom to top, and let's say rename it. And no, it didn't work well. I did something wrong. So let's do it again. Control R, probably from up to down, and 0 0. Now it's good. So now we have defined them all. Let's create the style of them. So I'll use my favorite plugin styler, generate styles, and we don't support them. Okay, so I have to pick them out from auto layout, select them all, styler, generate styles, and we have created 9 styles. We have all styles here. So I'll quickly select them all with shift and click, and click on it, add a new folder. Let's name it green. So now it's under a folder called green, and you can also manage it from clicking and dragging. So we have created our green color. Let's create orange as well. So click them all. I'll select them all. Control R, up to down, 0. What is happening here? Uh, these are code, and I want to rename from top to bottom, and this dollar n defines the first number, and my first number is 1. So if I change it from 1 to 2, and see that this is how it's going to work. So it's going to change the first number, and the next one will be 0 0. So I want 1 to 9 number and rename. So we have rename uh, orange color. Yeah, it's great. Let's run our plugin. So I usually don't click on right click and go to plugin. I simply control and forward slash, and you can search your styler, styler, generate styles. I'm going to quickly generate the styles. So let's select select the first one, shift last one, right click, add a new folder, orange, orange. We have two color now, orange and green, and let's create this third one, which is a gray palette. So I select them all again, control R, to down, C0, and rename. Now keep them still and click on generate styles. So we created 8 style mode of a palette of gray. Click them all, manage them. Always keep them in folders. So this is gray. Yeah. So we have gray, orange, and green, and textiles as well. So we created main styles. Let's create styles for shadows as well. So for elevations, uh, I usually create for this exercise. Let's just create three simple elevations. So drop shadow, value of 4, 2, 15, because we don't want a lot of shadow. And if you don't want to use pure black, just type 11111 and enter. It will pick up a good black, but not purely black. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly copy that, play with the shadow again. That's 4, 8, in third style, keep it 4, but let's increase the value to 16, 8, 20. So yeah, you always can go back after, you always can like modify your uh, styles as well. So let's generate styles. Style generated. So it says 6 style generated, but we have created 3 styles. The problem with styler plugins is also going to generate styles of these colors as well. So we have this rectangle 1, rectangle 2, rectangle 3. So just delete this rectangle, select them all, delete all. We have our let's rename them quickly. Let's say to the elevation 1, elevation, elevation. So we know the third one is the max one, and the first one is the least one. So we have created uh, shadows, elevations, a text, as well as a color. Let's create a component library of uh, icons. So I already have a home icon. Uh, let's name it category. See, history. Let's name this offer. This card. We have 4 icons, and I guess will good to go with these four icons, and I click them all, I select them all, click here, create a multiple components of them and combine them as variants. Why I'm combining them as variants? So if I'm using a icon, let's say in a button, or I have a button, I can quickly change from home to offer to category to cart. Let's go to the UI design, and I already has the frame here. Uh, on default, frame has this 5 FFF pure, like pure white, but don't go as I said with pure white. So you can name it FA, which is also going to be white, but not going to be pure white. So if you add a pure white element on top of this, you still have some kind of separation on that. So let's first create a wireframe of this. For wireframe, I quickly why we create wireframes to discuss. So we create wireframes before going to high fidelity because we don't want because high fidelity going to take a lot of time and energy. So we quickly discuss the structure, and so wireframes are basically for structures. We don't use any type of color or typography or icons. We usually These are usually for layout, how the content is going to flow on the color on the frame or on the screen. So yeah, let's create a wireframe of this. Because we are going so wireframe for text, I usually uh, go with this rectangles, and let's say this is going to be a heading or a bigger text on top. So we have a big block of rectangle, and I'm guessing this is going to be the name of the user, and on underneath that we have a little subheading or subtitle, something around that as well. uh, then I'm not using frame right now because we don't want any kind of complexity here. It's just simple structure. So this is probably going to be the uh, profile of the user. Then, like Swiggy or Zomato, let's make big cards which going to tell us offer if there is any offer going on. Those big cards. Then let's say next we'll do something like recently added, I guess. So let's make a recently. So things you bought recently. So that going to tell you here. Let's make them credit cards, and here we'll add a view all. So by clicking on this, user can view all because we are working on wireframes. So what you can do is quickly, if you have to hand off or discuss with this file to some other designers after a day or two, you're probably going to forget all these things, all these details. What you can do, you can quickly drop some comments. So this is going to be view all, and you can post that comment. So if the other designer or you meet up after some time, you know this component is for view all and stuff like that. So this is recently added, and next I want, um, let's say, we can do here. Um, this is a card. This okay. So we haven't added a search bar. We can add a search bar here because obviously we need to search things. So this is going to be a search bar. The card, the recent add menu. Uh, we can change this to, I guess, new things or new additions or something like that, new to the market or trending. Uh, let's change this to categories. So we can change it to categories, and the cards are going to be a little smaller, and we can change all the settings by so this is an auto layout. I can click on the auto layout, enter one again, and we have all the, so we can change the values. So, and because this is an auto layout, I can also like duplicate, and it's going to like keep it in the same direction. Done with this, let's add a bottom navigation bar. So bottom navigation bar with some icons. So if you're going to uh, in wireframes, if you are going to put something on top of something, go with little darker. So I'm going to place these icons. Home icon, let's say this is going to be category icon, offers, and what do we have, cart. So yeah, basic wireframes is ready. Let's convert it to uh, high fidelity. So we are going to use a lot of plugins to ease our workflow. So let's first create a grid, because we want a baseline grid or column grid. So by for adding grid, click on this layout grid, click on this, changes to column, and I usually go with 4 column grid and with 16 margin and 16 gutter. So gutter is going to be this distance, and margin is going to be this distance from the border. So yeah, I don't like this color, so I'm going to change it to the blue. Yeah, this looks nice. Uh, Also, keep in mind when you are designing, uh, keep the status bar in mind, because mobile phones has this status bar, and it's usually 20 uh, for 20 height. So place a status bar of 20, and after that start designing. Let's keep it pure black. And yeah, let's drop a Ashish. Let's change Ashish to Figma. Um, this is a heading, and next one is going to be a subheading. Welcome back. Let's name this app something like uh, what an app. What should we name this? Welcome back to. Let's just keep it the app, and we have to change this to other type settings. So I'm going to click on it, and going to change this to caption, which is a 12, and this to headline 6, and quickly going to auto layout this. So we have equal uh, layering, and I'm also going to change the color of this. So for picking color, so this color is not from uh, our styles. So for picking the color from our styles, we are going to click on this 4 dot menu, and let's pick this color here, and this change this to main 500, 500, 500 primary color. Create I'm going to take tips of 32 by 32, and probably going to auto layout with this one. So I'll click this, click shift click this, and control shift A. So it's going to auto lay it out, and now I want a picture in this, some kind of avatar so I have a plugin for that. You can search for reel. Content reel is a very good plugin. It's going to provide you a lot of things, from images to names to lorem to dates to address, anything. So I'm going with an avatar. Let's pick this one. So it's going to apply that here. So we have an avatar and we are good. Why I have auto layouted this? Because if I change or move something, I don't have to select both of these or change these. But also I want to do one thing also. I don't want this to be a packed one. So packed means, if you packed means you have this value and everything is with this value. I don't want it with this. I want it with space between. So space between is going to spread that. So now we don't have to change the values. We can like stretch it up and it automatically going to adopt. So this element, if you have space between in an auto layout, so every element is going to push their neighboring element. So if I try to duplicate this one, it's probably going to get into center. Yeah, this is space between. Next we have also keep checking the spacing. So now right now we have a 12 spacing. Let's keep it 16. For checking spacing, just click on the element, press Alt and hover on the neighboring element you want to check spacing between. So this is 16 and this is 16, 16 as well. Let's make a search bar. So for search bar, we also need a search, what is it, icon. So let's get a search icon. I go into the side icons and search for search. We get a search icon, and I want this to be so I want to add this to this variance, but it's not going to add into. If I try to add it, it won't going to add into variance. So I need to convert this new element to a component. After that, so what I usually I can add this to variant, but I usually make the component or the variant auto layout. So when I try to add another element, it's going to adjust spacing around it. So it's little more organized for eyes. So let's get a icon. So first let's create the search bar. So let's just, I want a color to be not very white, but this uh, secondary 200 gray. So if I want to hide this grid to see how the color look like, I can control shift and 4 on keyboard and going to hide it, and you can see how it looks. Now to we need a little more gray, so a little more. This is very much. I'll probably go with this, and let's add the icon. So I click on shift I and get this icon, or we already have, because we have created the variant of the icons. I can like pick that icon and change it to search. uh, keep checking the spacing between your elements. So this is not what a 8 grid look like. So I'll click on this, everything, auto layout this, and now you can see I change it from mix to 8. So the spacing around the icon is going to be 8, and now I can stretch this apart. Let's activate a grid system. If you try to stretch the auto layout, it's going to fix the value. So now it's not a hug content. This one is fixed. Let's do that again and see how this works. So now it's hug content means it's hugging that. So if I try to duplicate the icon, it's going to hug that. But when I try to force it, it's going to change quickly to fixed with the constraints of top and uh, right, I guess. So top and left. Let's also change the constraint to left and right. So also this constraint to left and right is to also left and right. Why I'm changing to left and right? So if a screen is going to expand, the content is also going to be expand. it fit. So this is very responsive design. You can pick that if you have designed it really well with auto layout and constraints. You can give this screen to another, or you can take this screen, stretch it apart, change the frame, and this is good to go for a tablet. Go back, and we also have some text here. Let's add a text. Let's say search your just keep it search with three dots. Make it a button and change the color of this to very faded color. This color also to something I guess green. This look nice. Let's create this to a so now created search bar as well. Check the spacing, it's 1616. This is good to go. Let's create the card we need. So for card, because we are going to add a lot of components in card like text buttons and stuff like that. So I'll go with a frame. So let's add a frame. Check the spacing, 16. Add a color. Let's temporarily add this color and give it a round corner of 8. You can go with 16 as well. And in this card we'll need little dots because this is a carousel kind of a card, so we'll add little representation for that. For this I'll go 4. Want to lay this out. It, uh, now auto layout and pick one and duplicate this up, place it here and change the color to the max white we have. So this is the representation that we have a uh, lot of slides here. You can also decrease the value. So for decreasing the value or the opacity, you can select the colors and I can quickly type 5. If I hit 5 on my keyboard, it's going to set the opacity to 50%. So it set the opacity to 50%. So we know that we are on this card, on the first card, and now on the second card, now on the third card. Let's add some food images. So for food images, we also have a plugin called Unsplash. I can get the Unsplash plugin and search for, let's say, pizza. We have a good images of pizza. Let's get one image that's going to suit our. So this is going to be very interesting picture here. So or this because we also have orange color in our system. So I'm going with this image. So I just click on this image, and this plugin is going to expand. This is a very big image. So resize it while pressing Shift and place that in here. So for forcing it to in the card, just click on while hovering on the card, click Control. So it's going to force that image into the card. Let's increase the values or the aspect ratio. So for so now we have our dots behind the image. What I can do, I can click on the image, Control Shift, and what it called. Uh, I don't know what this key called. So there is, or you can directly put grab this image here and put it down, and so it's going to show that. But we are not able to see these these dots. So what we can do, we can add a gradient, little gradient on top of this image. So I click on the image, add a new fill, Click on this linear and change the values. Keep this dark and this also little dark. Wait a second. Okay, so white is not that dark because our layer opacity is 20%. So let's increase this to 100%. Now we can see those dots. Now let's play with this color. I guess this much is good. So we have this. Let's add something here. Get pizza 20% off. So change it to a bigger heading like H6 or H5. Let's go crazy with this H4 and paste it on top of this. Change the color to really white, and we can again play with this uh, gradient. So for adding two gradients here, just click here and click here and increase the opacity from here. Now we can see the get 20% off. So we have successfully created a pizza uh, card. Let's check the spacing really quick. So 8 to 12, and this spacing to 8. Let's just go. So if you want to change spacing between two elements, so let's say, so this box is 1 pixel in Figma, and so we have two elements. If you click on one element and uh, click on your arrow keys, it's going only with one values. But if you want a really jump of values, so if I click here and shift and after clicking shift I click on the arrow key, it's going to jump between my desired value. So right now I've set it to 8, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, because I work with 8 grid for the most of the time. You can set the values going here, and preferences nudge value, and I have set it to 8. You normally or by default it's 10 from Figma. I have set it to 8 because if I want value jump, so it's going to jump from 8 to 16 to 24 to 32. After that, we have little cards which says recent edit. So let's add recent edit, paste it to 6. That 6 is good. Let's go a little down to H. Subtitle 1. Subtitle 1 seems good to me. Change the color to this one, and this to view all. Going to click, going to select both and auto layout, space between, and center. So I know. So now I know if I have. Uh, let's check if our design is responsive or not. We will try to expand it. Okay, our image is not expanding because we haven't set it with the constraints. So yeah, let's check. So now our design is responsive. Let's change this to black. Change see the values to 24. Create a card. So for because we there is a lot of repetitive cards, or a lot of one we are using one component for a lot of times. We are going to make a component of this, so we can work with that. So let's just quickly create a component. Let's just create straight in the screen as we're going to add let's say 120 by 120 of card. Add a good color to it. uh, let's add this color, looking good. Let's go with this color. And the height, let's set the height to 150. Give it a corner radius of 8. And so in a card we probably going to have two things, one a text layer and one the image of the product we added. So I'll add another card in this, and in this give it a fill color, little higher value than that. And give this a corner radius of 8. Let's add an image in that. So we'll grab a lot of images. Let's add flash. Let's add pasta. Nice. Let's add Chinese. Okay, noodles. So as you can see, Unflash give you really good images. So okay, so don't click on the image. You have to unselect that image, or this plugin is going to implement the image on the same image we had later. So I'll click the let's add this image of noodles, unselect that, and say pasta. Images go. Need some more images. Let's say coffee. So three images, I think, good to go. And click again on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to first resize the images. So let's resize them to a scale value, because here we have, let's change it to a scale value 100. No. We set it with the spacing to 1 of 4 height. Do remember to unclick or constraint proportion is keep it off while changing one side. So now it's good. Give it 1 of 4. 1 of 4. Give this 1 of 4. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to convert these as components and variants. So when we are working with an image, I can quickly change the image from something to something else. This is how powerful. Let's rename these components quickly. So this is what is this? So noodles. This is noodles as well. So let's name it noodles 2. This is coffee. We have an image. Let's add shadows here. So we also added the shadow. Let's add some uh, heading to this product we have, or the food we have. Let's noodle. with body one or little 12. Also, when you're working on a smaller devices like phone, don't go below 12 pixels or 12 point of any font, because that is not going to work well with a lot of people, because people have this people, because not all people have good eyesight, so that's why we don't go below 12. I have noodles, change it to button is very big. 14 body tool seems good to me. Set the price of this, or we can add price, or we can add to cart to this, so you can quickly get the icon, component library icon, change it to cart, add it to here. This don't looks good, so we'll go with the, I guess, price value. Let's say this for dollar, dollar 14, yeah, dollar 14 seems good to me. Auto layout, space between, check the spacing, always keep checking the spacing between the elements. So what we can also do, convert this whole card to an auto layout itself. So let's first convert these two as auto layout, is the value between these two to 8, and then let's convert the whole card as an auto layout. Now we have perfect spacing between the elements. It's 888 and 888. So we have created this card, and let's get this off the screen and create this card as a component and name this as food card. I want this not here. I don't want these two uh, objects here. So I click the both, right click on them, and send them to component library. So they'll be automatically sent to this component library. So we have here. Let's add a card now. So card, add it here, delete it, select them all, auto layout, space between 24, and now if we duplicate this, going to uh, keep it's going to duplicate that with the spacing we have between elements. That we have 24. Let's decrease it to 60. Yeah. And quickly change the images as well, because we converted them to variants. So we can quickly change them to images we had later. Coffee. Also, if there is a lot of auto layout or groups and you want to change this name, you don't have to click a lot of time to reach to here. Just hover on that and press Control and click. You'll get on the layout you want it. Change it to pasta. Now we have added a card. Set the spacing. Change it to 16 or 8. This one was so we have command. So I actually forgot this. I guess this was category. So let's reuse this component that we have created and change it to re. I'm guessing the spelling is right. Let's quickly check if everything is under our layout, and let's add little cards. Here we also going to use these cards, these buttons or cards a lot. So we also going with uh, components. So let's create component of this. So let's say we want four type of categories. First is fruits, next is veggies, then drinks, then snacks. So let's just quickly create this. So I'm going to use emojis here. So let's add some emojis. Fruit, uh, and we have a lot of fruits. Let's add the strawberry, the vegetables, tomato, or let's add some green vegetables. We don't, yeah, okay, yeah. This is. Let's add some drinks. So drink. Let's add this champagne bottle. Uh, Next is snack. And we can add a lot of things here. So let's add this croissants. Some emojis are not supported in uh, Figma. So yeah, we have this pizza here. We are good to go with these four uh, categories. Let's delete that. I'm adding auto layout quickly with them. We can change them to fixed height, fixed width, 40 by 40. Keep them in center and with the radius of 8 and add a fill to them. This is fruit, this is veggie, this is drinks, this is snacks. Mm, what we can add, I guess these are good. Let's click them on, convert it to components and variants now. Shift them to our component library page and fetch them from that. Now we have all the categories, and this might look a little uh, according to a screen. So let's see what kind of value. So let's keep it to the width of our one column. So if you try to stretch that, uh, it won't going to work well. So I'm using scale tool here. Press K, and now we have the scale tool. Let's scale it up. Yeah. Now I can also push these values because a component uh, here are not with these values. This value is 74 by 74, but our components are still 40 by 40. What I can do is click on the instance and push, go to main component. Here we have there used to be an option says push values. Mm, detach. I guess that comes with single component, not variant. So let's just quickly go here and select them all and change the values to 74. So select them all and let's go to 74. Yeah, sorry. Let's go back in UI design. Delete this shift I components. Paste here, paste one here. Select them both, auto layout, and duplicate them. Change from food to drink to snacks to veg. Let's keep them space between and adjust them according to a grid we have. Uh, we also have categories now. Let's create. We have some space left. Let's see what we can do with this. We can also duplicate this card here. So you face this kind of glitch when you get the value uh, after like dot or something. Just click on both of the elements and change the value from here. Probably won't going to face that again. Yeah, fixed. Let's change these images here quickly. Let's get some image of from Unsplash. I want image of food, of coffee. This image is this way. That image. Click, hold that image, control, and push it in card. Put back, delete this image. With the main image we have, now we have the pizza image. Now I want these gradients what we created here, so I can quickly grab this from here. Just go on the image, click here on the fill, and now copy it. Go here on the image, paste it, resize the image. So we have applied a similar uh, gradient we had on that image. Let's change the value to free coffee. Just look good. Let's quickly create a bottom navigation bar. So for creating bottom navigation bar, I'm quickly going to fetch all the icons we have here. So icons, create layout, change it to store, category, offer, and cart. Space between, and I want the margin to be 16. So I'm going to add 16 margin. So all icons are like 16 padding away from the border of, and on top I want 24.4. Let's add a color here. I'm going with the green color. Going to change the values of this to white. Going to change these values to not so green. Sorry. So you know that I have activated this icon, not this or this other icons. Paste this component here. Keep that in mind. Don't uh, push the card into push the what they say uh, bottom navigation bar. Let's rename it bottom navigation. Stretch it up. Place it there. Stretch it up and place it on underneath. And after that, you can work with these. So center, bottom. Let's add some corner radius to this. Now this looks fine. So let's uh, remove a grid and see how it looks. The spacing between the icons look way too much. So let's increase the padding of this to 32, 32. Yeah, this looks good now. Yeah, so we have created a app. We can also like prototype this. So if you want to prototype, but I don't think so. We have that much time now. So yes, it's good. I'm getting back to questions now from you guys.
Hey Ashish.
Hi, Hansaj.
So I guess we can start with our AMA right now.
Yeah,
So first of all, like amazing app in such a short time. It looks really good.
yeah. Wasn't
So
expecting it to this good, but it really came out really good because we
yeah, it
got
did.
really good images as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, someone asked that how to draw curvy shaped vectors.
Curvy shape vectors. Uh, can you explain your question because I'm not getting the curvy shape? Uh, you can work with pen tool if you want to make curvy. I'm guessing
Yeah.
you're guessing is asking for this.
Yeah, I guess maybe like they can use pen tool. Maybe you can give like a demo of how a pen tool works, if it's possible.
Yeah. So pen tool is one of the best tool we have in every design tool. So you can click on pen tool. Pen tool, the working of pen tool is you like basic. It's basic but complicated at the same time. So if you click a point another, then you can stretch. So you get these, uh, I guess, these supportive lines. And after that, if you are going to add another sector, it's going to add like this. So pen tool work like this. These two points has imaginary connected with these the curvature of. So if I increase these values, the curvature is also going to increase. Similar with this, and I can click here with shift and change it to this. You can also create a lot of patterns with uh, pen tool. So let's create one. Let's see how we can create that. We can click here, click here, click here. That I can duplicate to here, and now control D. We are going to create this wavy pattern, and you can click it on and change it to a single layer with union selection. So now it's a single layer. Yeah, and you can change the color at once. Yeah.
Yeah, pen tool is pretty amazing and it's present in like almost every design app.
Pen tool is the basic of design, and if you know pen tool, you know you have won half the battle, I guess.
Yeah. So someone was asking like, can you explain a bit about prototyping in Figma? Like how do prototypes work?
Yeah, prototypes are really basic. I had a plan of like making another screen, but under the time constraint, we can't do that. So prototypes with Smart Animate is really basics. So what you do is create one here. Let's just say we want we click on this and a pop-up menu comes over. Let's create a pop-up menu really quick. It won't going to be really amazing.
Yeah.
Just add some values. Let's profile, auto layout, control D, change the auto layout to down, profile settings, uh, down. Let's reset. So that's really good. Now what I want, when we click on this avatar or the person, we want a pop-up of this. So we can quickly create that. Just click on the avatar, connect it to this, and from navigation to click choose open overlay. So it's going to open an overlay, and I want it to be center. Uh, Close when click outside. So if we click on the outside of the image, is going to close and add a behind overlay of 20% darkness. Instant. I want it to be instant. So let's play this and see how this works. It's not working. Okay, we are facing some glitches, I guess. Stream to, yeah. So we have a app here, and okay, but it's not showing here. I don't know. Figma is not able to. I guess we have used really heavy images from Unsplash. We didn't use compressed images, so that's why it's going to take a lot of time. This is also a lesson if you are prototyping or if you are making products. Please resize your images before working on real product until unless the prototype is not going to work really well because the images are really heavy. So let's run this one. See if this work. Yeah. So now if we click on this image, it's going to pop up. So pop up we have designed. So if I click on the outer side of this, it's going to click that on. This is how prototype works. You can explore the prototype a lot.
Yeah. So like next question. So Anushka asked that how did you create the icon component library?
Icon component library is very simple. You can get on. You can pick any. I'd say uh, icon library. There are a lot of icon libraries. So if I go into community, Figma community, and if I search for icons, there are going to be a lot of files and a lot of plugins as well. So I usually use phosphor icon, content reel, also have icon, material icons, iconly, as I said, brand patches, another very interesting uh, plugin. So if we were using some other, let's say, if we were recreating some screen or product of some other company, let's say Google. So if I brand fetch it up, fetch. This is a really interesting. That's why I'm going to show you. So if I type, let's say we want Google's logo. If I do Google, we'll get the Google SVG logos, the colors, the font they use, the images they have. So if I click on this, we have the Google uh, color. If I go with Yahoo, we are going to have the SVG and the PNG as well. Colors, the font. So yeah, uh, back to the question of icon library, you can get the desired icons as you can as you saw. I added this icon later. So if I, let's say we want a user icon as well, so I go into the side icons, add user, add this icon, convert it to a component, and add it to our library. So now it's added to a library. So if I change it, the variant will also have the user as well. So this is how you create a component library.
Cool. So, any other questions, guys? I I don't think we have any other questions.
Yeah,
Cool. So I don't think we have any other questions.
yeah,
So before ending, we have a few announcements for you guys. So first of all, about the giveaway. The winners of the giveaway, the winners of the Bitcoin giveaway are Shweta Pariga, Aditya Upadhyay, Ayodhya, Ayodhya Pradhan, Aman Raj, and B. Deep Sai. I hope I pronounced all those names correctly. And the second announcement is that we are extending the final submission date for the week 2 challenge that was given uh, a week ago, and we are extending it to uh, to 9th of September, that is Thursday. So we are giving you 2 more days of time. So I hope you guys can complete it and finish all of the week challenges, and we'll also be releasing challenges for this week as soon as those the deadline is over for that challenge. So I guess that's it from that's it from our side today. And thank you so much for joining us for the sixth session of UI UX track. Uh, oh, sorry, I missed something. I missed that if for to avail the giveaway, you guys can contact Sparsh Sharma on Discord, on our Discord. So yeah, thank you guys for joining us today from the session. And the session was brought to you by Developer Student Community, Mozilla Durg, and KUG Durg presents Developer Days, platform partner DevFolio, authentication partner Savo Labs, and supported by Script Foundation, the month-long celebration for developers. Thank you so much and have a great day ahead.